It's not always fair, but it happens consistently. Why rule breakers rise fast and fall faster? Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Chen. I teach metaphysics, which means I study how humans explain the forces they can't fully measure. Today we're looking at a pattern that appears everywhere, in psychology, sociology, history, and even ancient metaphysical teachings. Why do some people rise quickly by bending or breaking rules? And why do they collapse just as fast? The pattern we all see. You see it in school, at work, in politics, and business. The people who follow every rule move steadily. The people who stretch the rules or ignore them entirely move quickly. It's not always fair, but it happens consistently. And before we label it as right or wrong, let's try to understand why systems behave this way. Why rule benders move faster. Let's start with behavior. People who bend rules tend to have higher tolerance for risk. They act faster, hesitate less, and push through barriers others stop at. In psychology, we know that first, decisiveness is rewarded. Secondly, confidence is often mistaken for competence. And third, boldness creates momentum even with imperfect information. In sociology, we see that systems, especially competitive ones, reward whoever moves first, not whoever waits for permission. That's why rule benders rise fast. They create motion while everyone else is still evaluating. Two types of rule breaking, but there's an important distinction. Not all rule bending is unethical. Category 1 is harmless or strategic, ignoring unnecessary bureaucracy, questioning norms, finding creative shortcuts, challenging outdated limits. These people aren't harming anyone. They're just moving faster than the system expects. Category 2 is harmful, cheating, deceiving, exploiting loopholes to mislead, pushing ambition at the expense of others. And the second category is where fast rises turn into fast collapses. Real-world examples of fast rise, faster fall. These aren't theories. History and modern society give us countless documented cases. Enron became one of America's most admired companies for a while. Executives used accounting loopholes and misleading financial reporting to hide losses and inflate performance. They rose quickly. But once transparency returned, the company collapsed almost instantly. Careers ended, lives were disrupted. A classic example of short-term success built on unstable foundations. Bernie Madoff projected confidence and exclusivity for decades. Behind the scenes, he was running a Ponzi scheme, an illegal structure guaranteed to collapse. And when it did, the fall was immediate and devastating. A long rise, a sudden ending. Theranos became a Silicon Valley star by claiming breakthroughs that, according to court findings, the technology didn't actually achieve. The company attracted major investors and enormous attention. But once evidence surfaced and investigations began, the collapse was rapid and complete. A clear example of rule breaking disguised as innovation. Napoleon Bonaparte rose from a low-ranking officer to Emperor of France through extraordinary boldness and rule bending. He reshaped Europe faster than anyone in his era. But he pushed past the limits of sustainability, the ill-fated invasion of Russia, followed by defeat at Waterloo. A dramatic demonstration of rapid ascent followed by dramatic decline. What metaphysics says about this? In metaphysical traditions, these stories form the basis of concepts like karma, divine justice, and the rise and fall cycle. Because human societies consistently respond the same way. Rule bending creates speed. Unethical rule breaking creates instability. Instability eventually collapses. Every culture noticed this long before we had modern psychology or economics. Why honest people move slower. Now, what about the people who follow rules carefully? Honest, structured individuals often think before acting, consider consequences, value fairness, avoid harming others, respect processes. These habits create trust, stability, and long-term success. But they slow progress in systems where speed is rewarded. Here's something to think about. You don't need to cheat or harm others to succeed quickly. But you do need to understand that rigid rule following rarely accelerates progress. The real skill is knowing which rules protect people and which rules merely slow you down. Break the first, and consequences will eventually find you. Bend the second, and you can move faster without harming anyone. What's the key takeaway from here? Rule breakers rise fast, not because the universe favors them, but because they act while others hesitate. But those who break rules at the expense of others always face the same ending. Systems correct themselves. history catches up, and the fall is always faster than the rise.